find out what you really like to do and spend your time doing that, because you'll do it well and it'll be time well spent.
An original founding member of the rock and roll group The Mystics, author Al Contrera tells the true story of how 5 teenagers from Brooklyn, New York went from singing on street corners to fame in the 50s with their first hit song, Hushabye. This is a vivid, detailed account of the trials and adventures of forming a music group in a neighborhood controlled by the mob. Contrera skillfully narrates the story of the group's formation, the recording and touring experiences, as well as the successes and heartbreaks, including the arrest of the lead singer for being an innocent bystander during a neighborhood gang shooting, resulting in mistaken imprisonment for 2 years. Hushabye tells the unique tale of walking the fine line between the music and the mob, and how peer pressure and the temptation of fame changed the lives of the Mystics forever. Come on their ride through the 1950s music industry, as Contrera also offers keen insight into the sweet sounds of street corner doo-wop of the era.
First thing I want to get started with personally is, obviously the intro covered the book and your story about the music career. I want to learn what it was like growing up in the 60s and 50s when you were my age, like 20 years old. Because you were 20 years old in 1960.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what was it like with no social media? What was it like with no phone? 20 years old?
Well, we didn't have a personal phone. I mean, but we had a phone that everybody had a phone in the house. I mean, so you had one. It was a rotary dial. You have to, listen for a dial tone, and then you can rotary dial it. And everybody shared that phone, so it was difficult to have a private conversation.
Yeah, eavesdropping.
Yeah. Everybody was like, and if they had extensions. I mean, you were on a phone, say upstairs in the hallway, because that's where they usually had the phone. Nobody had a phone in their own bedroom, so you had the phone in the hallway, and then somebody could pick up the phone downstairs and eavesdrop on the conversation. So,
no privacy.
Yeah, no privacy.
Yeah, but what would the weekends look like? Like, what was the nightlife like? Were people out?
We typically, let's say, pick a year. For my life was different after 1959. When the record came out. But prior to that, as a teenager, 16, 17 years old, we hung out in the local candy stores. Where we had a place in the neighborhood called Freitags, which was where they served, light dinners, not even a dinner, like
a cafe
sandwiches, cafe kind of thing. But it was an ice cream soda place.
And this is in Bensonhurst?
Had a counter that was in Bensonhurst.
Gotcha.
Right? And where you can get ice cream sodas, a little tuna salad sandwich, or something like that. And they had booths. So once we used to hang out there during the evenings, we'd go hang out in the booth. And I could see clear as day. They're all wooden and had wooden high backs to it, and people would engrave their names
on the thing
in the tabletop. Damn. So even though the owners didn't want you to do it, but everybody did it. So later on, they put tablecloths on top of everything.
Yeah, covered it
all up.
Damn. So Bensonhurst, 1950s. You were a teenager growing up. If you could try to paint that image or walk through the image of growing up in Bensonhurst, what was it like?
It was actually pretty cool as compared to today.
Yeah, I bet.
Because today you're just inundated with social media.
Yeah.
Everything is a commercial. Everything is you buy this, buy that. Send me this. I'll send you that. All kinds of stuff. But in those days, you had newspapers, which practically everybody read every day. Otherwise, you wouldn't know what the hell's going on. And there was some TV just started to come out. So TV was not really. We watched some news on TV, but it wasn't as good as doing a newspaper. No, and then of course, you had say I was 16 or 17 years old, everything was geared around high school because that was important at the time. So your girlfriend, if you had a girlfriend, you would spend the early evenings with your girlfriend on a date or go to the movies. But most of the time we hung out in the candy store.
So let's say you're 20 years old. Walk me through the start of when you guys first started to take off, because I think the intro in the book, people have a good understanding of kind of how you got started. Unless you want to walk us through how you originally got started.
I didn't know, like I said, we hung out in candy stores. So after school, let's say school was over at 3 or 4 o'clock, we would walk over to, instead of going home, we would walk over and hang out in the candy store. And on one particular day, which is a very important day in my life, was when my friend Angelo and I,
Good name.
he was my best friend. Like, we hung out in high school together. The only thing, he was smart. I wasn't that smart. So he was the valedictorian of the class.
Wow.
And he always wanted to be a doctor. He always said, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be a doctor. And he practiced he practiced with cord and making knots with one hand all the time. His hands were always making knots. And I said, what the hell do you do that? He says, well, later on when I have to stitch, he says, I want to make the knot. So I said, all right, well, whatever. But we used to hang out with a bunch of guys, but he and I were really big. So anyway, now the day was practically over in school, and even if it wasn't over, we used to leave anyway. And so we went up to the candy store. I sat down at the counter, and he ordered a drink, and I ordered an A-cream. And I says, can I have an A-cream? So the guy who was sitting next to me, who I didn't know at the time, he had these stools, these round stools. So he swivels around on the stool. He goes, do you sing? I says, no, do I sing? What do you mean, do I sing? He says, well, no. He says, there's a lot of groups around, and I'm in the group. And, he says, well, what group are you in? He says, well, I'm in the Overons. I says, well, that's a pretty famous group in the neighborhood. Good. He says, no. He says, because not too many people have a deep voice, and you have an exceptionally deep voice. I says, oh, really? I never... and my friend Angelo, who's sitting on this side of me, he's egging me on. Oh yeah, he's got it. Oh yeah, he's got. I said, look, I don't sing, I don't know anything like that. So he gets up and he puts some money in the jukebox and he plays a song. And the song was by the Platters, You'll Never Know. He says, do you know that song? I says, yeah, I heard the song. He says, well, do you know there's a bass part in there? He says, yeah. I said, listen, I listen to the music all the time. I kind of know it, but I don't know how to sing it. Mm-hmm. He says, when that part comes up with the bass part, he says, try it.
Wow.
He says, try it. So I says, all right. So and we're talking, and we're listening. Oh, the part's coming up. It's coming up. So he says, you'll never know. So he goes, holy shit, you got a really good bass voice. I said, well, I wouldn't know that. That guy brought me into his group. That group eventually became the Mystics.
Wow.
Yeah, and of course I lay it all out in detail
in the book.
But that I don't know where I would have been, what I would have did if that moment didn't happen. That particular moment in time was like, what if I didn't go to the candy store that day? And what if he didn't go to the candy store that day? And I don't know.
That's
I would have
crazy.
changed my life completely. My trajectory of my life would have been different. Completely. I don't know Who knows? Maybe I would have been a doctor. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Hanging around Angelo,
because
maybe.
my friend Angelo would
Yeah.
have got.
That's crazy. I mean, it had to be meant to be then. Just the timing.
Well, I guess if you look at it that way,
Yeah.
the timing just would have been. Well, that's what was meant to be.
Yeah. So are you still in, where's Angelo today? Is he around or?
I can't. I used to stay in touch with him often, and I know he was he was a surgeon. He became a surgeon,
Nice.
and he was at Maimonides Hospital in Brooklyn for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
Then I lost contact with him. Maybe the last time I talked to him was maybe 30 years ago. I don't know, but we had dinner one night in Brooklyn, and I know he lived in Sheepshead Bay. But then I tried to get in touch with him, and
What's his last name? We'll find him on here.
Rubano, Rubano.
Angelo Rubano. We'll see.
Who knows?
We'll see.
I mean, all the social media we
right?
have.
He's probably
tried
watching.
Facebook. I tried all these things to try to find out where he is. And even all my old friends, you got a lot of guys who are still around. I said, you know where Angelo? No, I never heard. From him. Now, hopefully he moved to Florida and got a different life, but
exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. So you're 20 years old when that happens, when you're in the candy shop, or a little younger?
Oh, I was younger than that.
Yeah,
I was like 17. I didn't even graduate just about graduating high school at that time, 17. And that's when that happened. And so that's when I was introduced to
The group.
to a cappella singing with that group. And I started singing with that group, and that one thing led to another. And that group started to rehearse, and then we formed a different group because some of the guys couldn't really sing that well, and they says, we're gonna do this, we're gonna change. I just want to along for the ride.
Yeah.
I said, wow, okay, cool.
So was doo-wop popular? That was the thing going on?
That was extremely popular.
Yeah.
Like at the time, there were shows at the Brooklyn Paramount and the Fox Theater in downtown Brooklyn by Alan Freed, who was like the top DJ of the time, and he would put on these live shows which everybody went to, and you would see these groups performing on stage, and they were singing the music that we were trying to emulate.
Yeah.
And who knew that it's not only let's see, I went to probably a show when I was 17, 18 years old, 1958. I went to a doo-wop show. Who knew that less than 2 years later, I would be on that stage. I was just blew my mind.
And you wouldn't even think that you would be on stage. Have you ever thought before when you were in the seats? No?
Never. I mean, I wished I could.
Yeah, it'd be cool, but
I never even thought about it.
Yeah.
Until, all this stuff happened to us. One thing led to another, and I don't know if we want to go through all of that, but...
Well, when you're 20 years old, Hushabye is when you first... Hushabye came out when you were 1960s.
In 1959.
1959.
I was 19 when it came out.
So walk me through when it first came out and when it started to get traction, and I guess word got around the neighborhood and it started to get big. What was it like?
Well...
First hit record.
The record, we to bypass all this time that we spent rehearsing and finding the right song and the whole thing, and then we finally record the Hushabye, and now the record company and we had a manager now at this time, so manager tells us the record is out and it's doing well, we sold, I don't know, 20,000 pieces in New Haven, Connecticut. It really broke in New Haven, Connecticut first.
Why is that?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Wow.
Well, because once the record company gives it to a distributor, whose role is to get the record out to different areas of record shops that sold records. Not like today. Nobody. I don't know. There's not even records anymore.
Yeah, it's all digital.
No, it's all digital.
Yeah.
So, but records were made 45s with the big hole in the middle, and so people were, they were tracking how much was being sold, and that would dictate whether or not we would do a record hop. Record hop meaning you would go to that local radio station in New Haven, Connecticut, and they would set up a record hop for a bunch of teenagers would come and hang out.
And would you perform or?
And we would perform, but we would lip sync it. We wouldn't do it live.
Got it.
Right? We would lip sync it. They would play the record and we would sing along with the record.
Got it.
But we were there live and we would all get dressed up and
I guess you would sign some autographs maybe.
Sign autographs.
Nice.
Do a radio interview with the local DJs who put on the record hop.
Nice.
And then they would play that over the air.
And I guess that just led to more sales of the record.
Just led to more and more, little by little, between the record player. Then in our case, everybody was different how it all stuff came about. But in our case, we were asked by Alan Freed, who was the premier DJ at the time. His radio show went out over the whole country.
Wow.
And so he was really, really important. But he liked the record. He liked Hushabye. Why he liked it, I have no idea.
Was he mainly just doo-wop?
Oh, that's all that was selling.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's all that was. There were the big band era of the 40s moved into music like by single artists like Pat Boone and the Four Freshmen and things like that, which I listened to growing up because my parents listened to that. Peggy Lee, all these singers, and that changed as it changed by the introduction of the live shows, and the young people, the teenagers at the time, all felt, well, there's young people that are performing this music. Maybe I could do that. Maybe we could do that if we had so the groups came about.
I see.
But in order to do it, you had to learn how to sing harmony, which really wasn't that easy.
I remember you telling me a story where you guys would like sing in like in a bathroom or a shower where there's
echo.
Yeah.
And we would sing in the subways.
Subways.
The subways had great echo.
Oh wow.
Except for when the train came by, but the subways had great echoes, and we used to sing there. Anywhere where there was an echo, like that's why people sing in the shower. It sounds great because it had a little bit of an echo. But anyway, the echo, just the reverberation, makes it sound better. It gives it overtones. So we.
What did your parents think when you started to get famous, if you want to say that, and like start to blow up? What was it like?
Well, let's go back to what they thought when we were singing. Because we did that. We used to go out every night. We would go hang out on the street corner and sing.
Wow.
And
people would come around and
people would always listen, and some people would open the window and say, "Shut up!" I want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So we would move. We would move to a different place.
Were there other groups on street corners?
Sometimes, yeah. Wow. Sometimes, and we went to visit other groups.
I see.
Very good friends of ours were the Passions, which was that they had a big hit record called "Just to Be with You." We brought them up to our manager.
Wow.
And we used to, so they hung out with us, and then the Classics also, the Classics with Sylvan. So they hung out and sang. We used to go to different parts of Brooklyn and people say, you got to go see this group, the Classics. They're really, really good. And we used to go down and listen to them sing, and they knew who we were, and it was like a friendly competition. Yeah. It was good, But it also is where you would meet other guys and other girls that sang.
Mm-hmm.
Not too many girls sang, but guys sang. I don't know. I don't really know why. Could never figure that out. But
I guess it started to change though as the years went by.
Well, there were girl groups.
Yeah.
And a lot of the girl groups at the time were like the Shangri-Las were a girl group, and some other things. But I don't know why girls never really started singing.
I guess if you like the deeper tone in the songs, girls don't really have that.
I have no idea, unless it just wasn't the thing to do at the time, because
back then,
it was always the majority of the acts that were live, which is what we're all trying to emulate, were guys.
Yeah.
There were groups like the Cadillacs. And they would do all this choreography along with the outrageous jackets and colors.
It's like a show.
For the live shows.
Yeah.
And then that's what we were trying to be. Whether or not, if we ever achieved it, we would be able to do it, we didn't know. But
we were going for it.
We were going. That was the goal. So my parents would say, "What are you wasting your time with this? This is a big waste of time. You got to go to college. We want you to, go to college." And at the time, very few people went to college. Very few people even graduated high school. Most people would just drop out of high school when they were 17, 16.
Well, would they go to the military or?
Well, a lot of them got into a business, a family business, or some of them went into the military. But a lot of them just would get a job.
Yeah. Start working.
At a grocery store or something.
Yeah.
Nothing to speak of. And there wasn't anybody, even in high school, that would say, you got to set your mind to do something that's going to make sense. So you could make some... Look, the bottom line to everything is money. So, someone would say, why don't you go get a job with an insurance company? At least it's a career. But unless you had a relative or somebody that you knew who was working in one of those careers, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know that.
I guess you're right.
You wouldn't know. The parents came from... Our parents came from a hard-working background. Our parents survived the Depression.
In the 20s, yeah.
Which was really, really tough.
Yeah.
When the stock market crashed and everything was terrible. So they knew what the value of $1 was.
Yeah.
Because there was actually no value at the time. And they suffered through that. And they didn't want their kids to suffer through that.
So that's why they were pushing get a real job and security.
Real job and security, or be a professional, or, to be a professional, like my friend Angelo, he was going to become a doctor. He did it because a local doctor that he befriended wanted him. He says, you have a lot of charisma, you're smart, you should become a doctor. And he helped him. And he couldn't even get into a school in the United States. He had to go to Italy.
Angelo? Oh, wow.
He went to Italy and joined, and got into a school.
Wow.
I don't know what you call it.
But university?
Yeah, university in Italy, in Rome. And that's where he studied. And he did the whole thing and then came back to the United States.
Wow. So when you started to see success and you started to become, you went on tour, I want to get to all that, but you started to prove that it's working. Did your parents kind of come around and?
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, once the record became a hit, and it was being played on the radio, and we were doing television shows.
Wow.
This guy Alan Freed had a very popular TV show. Now, you know who Dick Clark is?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. You know. So Dick Clark was even more popular than Alan Freed.
Wow.
Dick Clark had a national TV show, and we eventually got invited to be on his show too, because if you had a hit record, which meant that it was selling, and there were two magazines that Cashbox and Billboard magazine tracked the records that were selling.
Billboard's still around. I have I use that before I do gigs. I see what songs are trending on Billboard.
Yeah,
it's a website though.
So I have a Cashbox.
Oh yeah, Top 100.
Top 100 when Hushabye was in, I don't know, what, 25 or 30, 26. And so you look at all the songs out at the time and you say, wow, we're really lucky because people were buying the record.
Wow. Yeah, so if you're on Cashbox Top 100, you're obviously doing well.
You're doing, and if you made the top 100, you're doing great.
Yeah.
You know, so I think we made the 20, which was really, really good. But around the country, because don't forget now the record was selling around the country, all over.
Wow.
And in New Haven, Connecticut, where it started, and I have no idea why, or why Connecticut, but unless the distributor was really doing his job.
Yeah.
But it was like number one in a lot of, like in New Haven, Connecticut, it was number one in different areas. In different areas in Chicago area, it was number one, just local. But nationally, we hit number 20, which was...
Nationally, it's huge.
Yeah.
What other parts of the country were big into doo-wop in the 50s and 60s?
Well, the whole country.
The whole country?
The whole country
Oh,
was
wow.
big.
I thought it was just more like...
No, the whole country was into all these songs. When these songs, if you look at the songs on this, they were all popular nationally.
Mm.
So you're looking at you know, and they were million sellers. Like they sold 1 million records.
Wow.
We didn't sell. We might have sold 1 million records, but we really never knew because all the record companies cheated. And we thought we thought we were really, but we didn't really care.
Yeah, you're just happy to be there.
We were just happy to be.
Yeah, that's cool.
Know, that we made it, and we're doing live shows, and they says, oh, you got to go. Our manager sat us down one day and said, okay, boys. He was from the South, and he had a bit of a drawl.
Yeah.
You know, so he was part of. He was from Memphis, the good old
Tennessee.
Yeah, Memphis, Tennessee, and he used to be with the. I can't think of it now, but anyway, so he said, "Okay, boys," he says, "you got to go on tour." So. Now we're sitting in his office in New York City.
And you're 19, 20?
And I'm 19 years old.
Wow.
And he goes, you got to go on tour. And now the 5 of us are sitting there going, well, what does that mean? He goes, well, you got to quit your jobs, because we all had jobs. We all were, working at some kind of a job. And everybody always had a job. I mean, even young kids.
They just started working.
17, you just order, you got a job somehow. And so now we're sitting in his office and he's going, yeah, well, the record is a hit. It means it's going to really do well. Mm-hmm. And we booked a tour for you. I says, where? We didn't know. He says, well, you're going to start in Chicago and you're going to go through the whole Midwest, and it's 20 some odd, I haven't remembered the number, one-nighters. Every day, every night, you'll be doing a show in a different city.
Oh my God! So you're always on the road.
On the road all
Yeah.
the time. I said, oh. She says, so you got to quit your job. This is what you do now. I said, well, we're all looking at each other going, I can't give up my work. I can't give up my job. I said, how do I live? He said, no, you're going to make money. So just to give you an idea how much money was involved, we booked that tour for like, I don't know, a couple of $1,000 for the whole 10 days.
Oh my God.
The whole 10 days. And I mean, it came out like not much. Even one night, if we would get a couple of $100, which was a lot of money at
Back
the time.
then, yeah.
It was, figured all this money was, and so the record company would say, you got to go get now outfits. So they hired this woman, to go with us to a couple of stores in Manhattan that she knew, and pick out suits and shoes and
like kind of your designer, stylist,
and style what we would wear in the shows, and she picked out 3 outfits, and we went to this. I'll never forget the name of the store because I used to go there later on in years. Phil's Men's Shop
in Manhattan.
In Manhattan.
Is it still open today? Or?
I doubt it. Yeah. Well, who knows? Maybe. And so we pick out a dark brown suit, and
you guys all had to be matching on stage, right?
Well, typically that's how it went, And then we had to take photos. So we first had to buy the outfits, and then we went for photos. Yeah. And the outfits with dark brown suit, we had a suit. We had one of the outfits was black pants and a checkered jacket, black and white kind of checkered jacket, and black pants with a white sweater, which is what became the cover of the book, because it's just really amazing how good it looked, and white shoes.
Nice.
Right, and so that became the outfits that we took our pictures in, and then that became the outfits that we did our shows in. So there we were on the road. First time I've ever in a plane. I was 19 years old. I was the youngest in the group.
Who was the oldest?
The oldest was Bob Ferranti. I think he was the oldest.
He's 20 what?
And he was about 3 years older than me.
Okay. So you flew into Chicago?
So we fly into Chicago.
Damn.
And we don't know what the hell we were doing.
Nah.
I mean, I have the ticket.
The first flight ticket?
First, see it at the end.
Oh yeah, over here.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
so
crazy.
how much was the flight?
$36. Oh my God.
$36.
You can't even check a bag for that much anymore.
No, $36 to get the flight from
Newark,
LaGuardia,
wow, to Chicago,
which was into Chicago.
Mm-hmm. $36,
and it wasn't, and it wasn't a jet.
No,
it was a turbojet, which meant that they had propellers.
Wow,
but it was turbocharged.
Yeah.
It was like,
that's crazy.
Yeah, really, really crazy. So now we're in Chicago, and we get to the airport, and our manager didn't come with us. He was still home, but he knew we could, once we got there, we could take care of it ourselves. We weren't idiots.
Yeah.
but so we meet a manager. We get this place that we got to go to. We jump in a cab from the airport. We get to this place in Chicago, and that was the tour. The people that ran the tour. Now the name. This is one of the first pictures that we did in our brown suits professional picture.
Wow, yeah.
Right?
So I'll put it up on the screen.
Yeah. So General Artists Corporation was the place that we went to. And they had offices in New York, Chicago, Beverly Hills, Dallas, Miami Beach, and London.
Wow.
And they handled all the major artists.
Flamingos, I guess?
Huh?
The Flamingos, too?
Flamingos, everybody that's, even till today. I mean, I don't know if General Artists, this corporation is still around, but they handled all these, and then when we walked into their office in Chicago, I mean, you could see the pictures
on
on
the wall,
like Sinatra. And,
wow.
I mean, all famous, these are all famous people, and they booked people, they booked tours all over for all the live shows.
And they're all over America and in London, too? They're a big company.
Well, at the time, I don't know if they're still, maybe the name changed.
Yeah. But at the time, that's a big company.
It was huge. Yeah, we were thrilled at that.
Yeah, it's huge.
But we didn't do it alone. We were with a few other artists, and this one, that was the first tour we went on.
Wow.
And Freddie Cannon and all these people, all the people on there had hit records on the national charts.
Damn.
At the same time.
Wow.
So now we didn't know these people.
No.
We first met them. We became really good friends with Freddie Cannon. He was from Boston.
That's cool.
And we were blown away because he said, "Yeah, I packed my car." I
said the accent.
Have
you ever heard a Boston accent?
I never heard of it.
Oh, wow.
No, we didn't.
Nah, how would you know?
We didn't go anywhere.
Yeah. It's culture shock. So after Chicago, you meet all these people, and then you're traveling with these people every night?
Now every night.
They have a bus that takes you?
We all loaded up on the bus. Now, Frankie Ford, who had a huge hit record, who was like a #1 record, Sea Cruise, and we all became friends. We got on the bus, we were walking on the bus, and we were picking seats. But it was this bus like a school bus.
Yeah.
It wasn't really
like
a super
charter.
cruiser, beautiful luxury seats.
No bathroom,
The
probably.
seats, no bathroom.
Yeah.
The seats didn't go back. they were just,
So you're going across the whole west side of America.
So, yeah, we did 21 nighters.
Wow.
On that bus, which was so uncomfortable, and not even air conditioned. There was no air conditioning on
So
it.
let's say you do a show on a Thursday night. Where'd you go after Chicago?
Chicago, I don't know if I have the list of it somewhere, but I don't remember. But the first, we meet the bus driver, right? And we have a road manager.
Okay.
The road manager's name was Hal. I forgot his last name. It's in the book. And so now, Hal does a whole little speech, to everybody on all these people, young kids, we're all kids.
Wow.
I mean, the oldest person was probably 25 years old.
Wow.
On the bus.
Yeah.
Now, Hal was already in his 40s, and so he was like old to us.
Yeah.
And he said, he tell us about how much he has a lot of bus tours that he did, and he mentions all these names, and they're famous people. And so he says, the one thing I got to caution, or especially you young, good-looking guys, you're going to meet a lot of girls on this thing, and they're going to be all over you, but be careful, because when we're on the road, like places like, Missouri and Wyoming or wherever the hell we're going, he says, those police, if they catch you with an underage girl, you're in big trouble.
Wow.
And I may not be able to help you. That's part of my job, is to help you, but I may not. If you get arrested or
There's nothing he could do for you.
He says, it's going to be tough.
Wow.
He says, we'll try the best we can. He says, and, I'm prepared to help you, but that doesn't mean that you should do this. He says, you do what you have to do, but just keep in mind to be careful. And then we had that, and he used to tell us every day, also, and drugs, stay
I
away.
bet in the industry, yeah.
Well, we were not. We drank a lot. I'll be honest.
But I'm saying like the music industry and traveling and like that whole rock star lifestyle. It's
Right. Now, we did other tours that had bands, like whole bands that were like they were gambling and Alan Freed's tours were different altogether. this Freed, he was a bigger gambler than anybody.
Damn.
And drank like
and
crazy.
he was running the show.
And he was running the whole thing, So that's one of his. That's Alan Freed.
That guy in the middle?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, it says Alan Freed.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that, look at the price of the ticket.
$1.50. 1959. Friday, August 21st. Wow. Ocean View Ballroom.
Yeah.
Revere, Massachusetts?
Yeah. That was the one that
Wow.
we did in
I see you guys, on the bottom bottom right.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, and over here it was in a different kind of thing. But interesting about the vacation dance party, that they called it vacation dance party. It was a summer vacation dance party.
That was in Chicago, that one? Or was that? Oh no, that's just the trip and the tour in general.
We started in Chicago, and it went over all different areas, different cities. Like I have the whole list in the book. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But one of the interesting thing is that was the summer vacation party. There was a winter vacation party, same tour, different people. On the winter vacation party, which was prior to where we went out, the winter before, the group's acts on that show were Dion and the Belmonts.
Wow.
The Big Bopper.
Okay.
Buddy Holly. And another one. But a famous thing happened. Famous. A crazy thing happened.
Yeah.
It was so cold on the bus that a few of them got together and said, we're going to rent a private plane to take us to the next show.
Wow.
Because it was just freezing, no heat.
No heat on the bus.
No heat on the bus. And it was, and that's that thing that happened the night, the famous thing is the night the music died. That's when that happened. They crashed.
The plane?
The plane crashed. The Big Bopper died. Now, Dion and Belmont didn't take the plane. They didn't want to spend the money.
Yeah.
But the Big Bopper died. Buddy Holly died. And another person. I can't remember who the hell it was.
Wow. So obviously you guys didn't take the plane.
Well, that wasn't the tour we were on.
Oh, you weren't on that tour?
No, we were on that. We were in the summer tour. This was the winter before us. And the interesting part was that when you do these shows as an act, when you get to the dressing rooms, and they're all big ballrooms, dance ballrooms, that's what they were, but they had a stage, and then, you do your show, and kids would dance, and then they ask for autographs and all that there. So, when you do these shows, when you get to the dressing rooms, on the dressing room walls were everybody who was there. They signed their name.
Wow.
I don't know who started it.
Yeah, but that's cool.
And then we would find a spot and we'd put them in the sticks, and then we'd sign our individual names.
Wow.
And what we saw was in a lot of the places we went to in the Midwest was Buddy Holly's signature, the Big Bopper signature, and then after one of the places, and my memory is foggy, but it's all in the book. So my memory's foggy, but after that particular place, there was no more signatures.
Yeah.
Or other people's signatures, but not theirs.
Mm.
Because that was the last place they were.
Wow.
And that's
sad.
When the plane crash happened, and then a famous song was written about it. I should have.
There's a lot to remember.
It's tough.
But,
it's all a good thing. It's all in the book.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's tough to remember.
I knew a lot of the things that I was writing about when I was writing about it, and my memory comes back when I'm writing about it. But
exactly.
Then I lost it, and
yeah,
Jesus, the book has been out a few years.
Mm-hmm. So if you were to go back on your career, what's something you said to yourself that you did right? Like, what's something you're proud of yourself that you did right? I guess not take that plane, but I'm kidding.
No, we weren't even
I know.
Yeah.
But what's something you're proud of? You look back and you're like, oh, I'm happy I did this in your career.
Well, I'm happy we recorded. I'm happy. I'm just great. It's just a great thing that happened to us because we were kind of like, as a group, 5 guys who really were nothing,
Mm-hmm.
but we learned how to sing, and we learned how to do harmony, and we did it really, really well. We were good at what we did, and you honed your skills to the point where we could just at a moment's notice just sing harmony.
Yeah.
And I kind of knew, I could just look at all their faces, and I knew where they were going to make a change or they weren't. I mean, it just happened. It was just an amazing experience. So I would say, to answer your question, that yeah, the one thing I'm most proud of is the fact that we were really good singers. We really sang harmony well, and we all fit. The voices fit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we had two brothers in the group. We had a nephew of the 2 brothers in the group, and Bobby and I were just friends that we hung out with everybody for a while, and so we knew each other really well.
What's your favorite memory? I know it's a tough question, but what's your favorite memory looking back at the whole process, the tours, the singing, everything?
I think it's the time I met that guy in
the candy shop,
in the candy store.
Well, that's the start of it all.
Because without that, and he was he and I became really good friends.
Wow.
His name was Tony Amato, and we became really, really good friends after that. And he actually never stayed in the group with me.
Mm-hmm.
He started a different group, which was the Passions.
Oh, wow.
And which guys from the neighborhood. And so, but I would say, of all the things that happened, I mean, all great things that happened, that I think that one experience, which was, for me, changed my life.
Wow. So then how was it when you started to get older and you had to balance the career side of things? I know you...
Well, by the time we were, we had a terrible thing happen with, we lost Phil, our lead singer.
Phil and Albie are
brothers.
Brothers, yeah.
Right. But after our second record, we were on our 3rd record. And the second record didn't do as well as the first one,
mm-hmm.
but it did okay. And then all of a sudden you became very aware of that list.
Right, you're checking it.
Cashbox and
Billboard
and things that became part of your life.
Mm-hmm.
You checked it all the time. Which songs were what should we do, what should we not do.
Exactly.
And we worked very closely with the record company. In the middle of all of that, Phil got into and wasn't he got into it. He happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. and a robbery happened where he was hanging out, and he happened to know the guys who came in and held up the gas station attendant. Phil hung out at a gas station after we all did. We all, but that particular night I wasn't there. And we used to just hang out there because a friend of ours owned the gas station, or his brother owned the gas station. He allowed us to hang out because we had no place to hang out.
Yeah.
So we hung out in the gas station. There was a nice echo in there, so we used to sing. Well,
At the gas station.
Rehearse, yeah.
Nice.
Well, not in the
Outside.
in the they had a little room that we used to all hang out and talk and have coffee or whatever. And so some guys came in, they held up the gas station. Phil recognized them, but they didn't mean, I honestly don't think that they meant to kill anybody, but they killed the gas station attendant. Because when they went in to get the money, to hold them up, they went in and had a gun, and it was loaded. Why the hell they had a loaded gun, I don't know, but they walked in, and he was changing a tire, because Phil was right there when it happened. So he said, the gas station attendant was changing a tire. He had a tire iron in his hand. And when the guys came in and they held the gun and they says, "This is a hold up, give us all your money."
Mm-hmm.
And he was startled, and he picked up his hand. The tire iron hit the gun. And the guy holding the gun, in order to not let it go, grasped it tighter and pulled the trigger. And it hit the guy in the head and killed him. Instant.
The gas attendant.
Yeah, the gas station attendant.
Wow.
So he says, So Phil was in shock.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I wasn't there, but he explained to me what happened, and I said, "Oh my God!" And the guys that held up the gas station were local wise guys, which means that if you ratted on them, they something would happen, something bad would happen. So he made believe that he didn't know who they were. Now, so once they all ran away, they all fled. They jumped in cars. They pulled away. And Phil was left there with the guy in his arm. The guy died in his arms.
Wow.
And
he was 21, 22.
Phil was, I was
young.
I was 19, 20. He was 21.
Wow.
Young guy.
Yeah.
Now, they all fled, and the police came. Happened just how things happen.
Yeah.
Like you say, were you right place, the wrong place at the right time, wrong place, right. A cop, off-duty cop, pulls into the gas station to get gas, and there's nobody there. So he gets out of his car and he goes inside, and he sees Phil holding the guy.
Yeah.
He goes, "What? What happened here?"
Yeah.
And he explained the whole time. Some guys came in, they held it up. Now, to make matters worse, Phil tells the police, I don't know who they were, because of course the first thing they said is, do you recognize him? No, he was afraid to say anything. So they bring him to the police station and look at all these photos of all these guys that were arrested, and he sees most of them in the photos. I don't know. I can't remember. I don't know. While that's going on, they catch some of the guys
that committed the crime.
And it's explained. It's a long explanation.
This is all in the book.
All in the book, right? So they catch the guys, and it's weird how they caught them, but they caught them, and they said, "Oh, Phil was with us."
No.
And they didn't think.
No.
They didn't think, and because what the cop said to them was, "Well, was Phil with you guys?"
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, but we were at the coffee shop, and then we went out to the gas station."
So the cop was just not thinking that they would know Phil. He just threw it out there.
They just threw it out there.
Oh man.
And so now he's caught in a lie.
Yeah.
So we get word that this happened, and we're
How does word get around? Just like,
well, it was in the papers.
oh, the papers. So you
It's
don't
in the
even,
newspaper.
Oh my god. So what's your
Pictures.
initial reaction when you see this? Like,
We were shocked.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Phil had no way of calling us up. It's not
Yeah.
like we had cell phones.
No, that's what I'm saying.
You know, he had no way of letting us know that that this happened. I mean, the next day was just a regular, normal day, and we usually Bobby and I talked a lot. But I called Bobby, and he calls me,
Yeah.
and he says, "You know what happened?" I said, "No. Did you hear from Phil?" "No." So he explains to me what happened. I said, "Holy shit, we gotta go down to the police station."
Yeah.
So we go down to the police station, and we talk to the sergeant at the desk and the whole thing, and he says, "No, your friend is in big trouble. This is murder."
yeah.
Holy shit!
That's crazy.
What the hell? I mean, this guy's like your friends that you hang out with all
Yeah.
the time. It's like somebody saying, "Well, he was involved in a murder."
In the shooting, yeah.
What?
I
Not
know.
Phil.
And
I
them
said-
being wise guys makes it worse, you know?
Yeah. So now, we try to. The family hired a lawyer, and now throughout all of this, Albie happened to stop at the gas station.
His brother, Phil's brother.
Phil's brother Albie happened to stop at the gas station, and Phil waves him away, and the cops or somebody saw him there.
Oh, when it happened, after it happened a little bit, okay.
Yeah. He says, "You go away.
Yeah.
You know, get. I'll stay with him." And by Phil staying, if Phil would have left when Albie left,
Yeah.
nobody would have known he was there. But because there's no cameras anywhere, not
no.
like today.
Yeah.
You know, but he
Stayed.
stayed. I mean, he felt terrible, and
Yeah.
he knew the guy. He knew the guy because he used to be there every night.
Yeah.
No, not almost every night.
But he knew him well.
But he knew him well. So now, all of us get together. We get together. Now, Albie didn't want to go to the police station because they were looking for him.
Albie.
Yeah, they were looking for Albie because now they found out that he was there.
Yeah.
So now makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Our manager calls us up, Bobby, and goes, "I just saw something in the newspaper with Phil's picture." Because what they did is I have the picture, but they arrested these guys with Phil there, and it's a whole thing, murder,
Yeah.
held up,
Looks terrible.
hold up, it looks horrible.
Yeah.
So the manager says, "You guys come down. You gotta come to the office, and we gotta strategize
Yeah.
and see what the hell we're gonna do." I don't think anybody from the record company knows yet, but we were popular,
Yeah.
especially in the neighborhood.
For sure.
We were very popular. Now, what do we do?
Yeah.
Well,
And you're just on the upward trajectory of.
We had a major hit record.
Yeah.
Our second record was okay. We did well. Now we're on our third recording, and we're on our third recording, and we have no. And Phil, we figured, well, look, we'll get a lawyer. We'll explain what happened. He'll be out in a couple of days, and we thought, didn't happen that way. Did not happen that way. So, but he wound up doing 2 years. He didn't get what some of the other guys got.
Yeah.
They got life in prison.
Wow.
Some of them got because a few of them, the ones that pulled the actual trigger, got life in prison. Some of the other guys got about 10 years. Some were two-time losers, so they got 25 years.
Yeah.
And, a lot of them just never came out of prison. So
So he got out eventually.
But 2 years went by.
Yeah.
So now this goes back to what you asked me before about, well, what did we do? Well, our career was ruined.
Yeah.
The record company didn't want to have anything to do with us,
No.
but by contract, we had a couple of more records that they had.
What was his part in the group? Was he
The lead singer.
the lead singer?
Yeah.
Oh my
He
God.
was the lead singer.
That's tough.
So our next recording that was coming up, our manager says, well, we got to get a lead singer because if we miss the next recording, our contract will be void.
Wow.
He says, and if Phil comes out, then we got to get a replacement.
Mm-hmm.
So I says, okay. Now, our manager's office had a bunch of young people, all in our age group, all hanging out, all want to be performers, want to be singers, want to be producers. This was and a lot of them were good musicians.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one particular guy that our manager says, well, why don't you get him? Because he has a pretty good voice, similar to Phil's, in soft tones, and he plays guitar, and he'll pick it up right away, and we could teach him the song right away. Okay. So it was Paul Simon.
I don't know who that is, but I guess someone.
Paul Simon.
Big?
Paul Simon.
Okay.
You don't know who Paul Simon
No, but
is?
if you put the before his name, I guess he's
Holy
big.
mackerel.
Let me look him up real quick.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Mrs. Robinson.
Yeah.
Wow.
Paul Simon.
Paul Simon. Wow, he's
like
that's
super
crazy.
famous.
Yeah.
He's like Sinatra.
very famous.
And one of the best ever songwriters to write songs. He wrote songs for everybody.
So he got involved, or?
So this is before he was famous.
Yeah.
Right? And he's a kid.
Wow.
I mean, he was even a little bit younger than me. So let's say he's 16 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He's sitting around in the office, and we said, "Boy, you want to sing with us? We got to redo." Yeah, well, all right. Well, okay. And we used to hang. I knew him. He used to hang, and he says, "Yeah." He says, "But I want to do my own thing." He says, "So I'll just do the one record session, and that's it." I said, "Yeah, fine." Yeah, we all said it's fine. Managers, and we paid him to do the session. $150 to do the session, and he learned it right away. 1, 2, 3, boom, boom, boom,
Picked it up fast. He picked it up fast.
He picked it up fast, and we changed it a little bit, the recordings, to cover the fact that Phil wasn't there, to make it sound like Phil, and a lot of vocal stuff. We will think harmonies and stuff.
It was written to.
It was written for a single guy.
Yeah.
But we put vocal behind it, and we did three recordings. So Paul Simon recorded with us for the 3 recordings, and then we released the one that was supposed to be the next hit song, which didn't become a hit song, and I don't know why. Because it was a really good song. It was called "All Through the Night," where we all sang together, and then he had a little breakout lead part. But I think that the record company lost their love for us, because they were very straight-laced, and they didn't. It looked like we were gangsters. Yeah. That's what it looked like. And we were trying to cover up, and everything got crazy because we weren't trying to cover it up, but we were trying to cover it up. And our manager never left us. I mean, he
That was the guy from Tennessee?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
He stayed with us. He tried his best to make everything work right. And so we had a few more recordings to do with the recording contract, and then it slowly we had to get another lead singer because Phil did not come out. as when we thought he would.
And Paul was only doing the one
And
song.
Paul was only doing the one song. So the next lead singer we got was a guy by the name of Jay Trainer. Jay Trainer only did the one song with us also. And he went, and there, like I said, there was a bunch of kids hanging out.
Yeah.
Right? So he made friends with some other kids hanging out. And they formed a group called Jay and the Americans. And they had tremendous hits.
Wow.
Look up Jay and the Americans.
This magic moment. That song?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, they only in America can
Yeah.
a man from any. I mean,
It says Hushabye too. Did they do a remake
they
of
did
Hushabye?
Hushabye because of. That's a whole other story
Yeah.
why they did Hushabye.
Wow.
So.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
So you were around a lot of big time success in that one office.
Yeah.
That one spot
Yeah.
had a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of hits.
There's more. There's a lot more. It's all in the book.
Yeah, nice.
So we're up to the fact that we got Jay and the
Yeah.
Americans. Well, after that, our career kind of like dropped off the face of the earth. You know, everybody started to can be concerned about how we were going to make a living. You know, and Bobby already had gone to school for engineering, you know, design and stuff like that, and so I had a good hand in drafting, which is what I did. I only went to maybe 1.5 years of college, and that's what I took up, mechanical drawing and stuff like that. So I had a good hand. So I went with Bobby, got a job down in the Wall Street area as a draftsman.
Nice.
And because at the time you had people did drafting, you know,
Yeah, to design.
to design stuff. And I got a job with him at where he was.
Nice.
Albie got a job, I think, in construction. Philly was still away, and Georgie got a job with his father, who had a dry cleaning shop in Brooklyn.
So you guys all got jobs?
Oh, we all always worked.
Well, you went back full time with the jobs,
Yeah,
right?
we went full time to the jobs. So our career was over as far as the singing career was over. But the live shows, as far as, you know, doing nightclub work and stuff like that, we continued doing that.
Nice.
Without Phil.
Yeah.
You know, actually, we didn't continue doing that until Phil came out with the live shows. 2 years went by, we did nothing, but we did our own thing. Everybody got jobs and stuff like that. And so later on in life, when Phil came out, we got Phil a job with us.
Nice. Drafting?
Drafting. And we just trained him.
Yeah.
This is how you do it, and don't worry, we're in the office. And we all worked for the same company in the beginning, 4 of us.
Mm-hmm.
George had his own thing with his father's place. And so we did, that's what we did. We went to work together. Albie drove, he picked us up in the morning, and we went. The first job we got was at a place in Long Island, in Valley Stream, at an engineering place, and
so you guys stayed together through.
Stayed together for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Everything we did together.
And you guys first met through high school or before that?
No, we first met because of singing. Because I didn't know Phil, Albie.
Oh, so that one guy in the beginning, you met him with Angelo.
Tony Amato.
Yeah, that guy.
He introduced me to them because
Got it.
they were part of a gang.
Yeah.
They were the Bath Beach Boys.
Wow.
Famous gang in Brooklyn.
Wow.
And I mean, I was never in a gang. I mean,
You've been around it.
I was them. Well, with them, I became part of the thing.
Yeah.
Although I wasn't a tough guy. They were tough guys.
Yeah.
They were tough. Really tough.
I mean, I guess you're exposed to that environment too, so.
Well, you had to.
tough.
Sometimes you had to fight.
Yeah.
But in any case, so now later on, as we started to get into the engineering part of it, the drafting, and then we started to learn how to design stuff, and years, as the years went by, we all became pretty good at what we did.
Well.
Which is really unusual.
Yeah.
Because it had to do with the engineering part of it was a little bit more difficult. But we learned. We learned on the job. We learned how to design air conditioning systems for buildings. That's what we did.
It's funny how like this group just like picked things up. Like the singing you picked up became good at the engineering.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I honestly think that anybody could do anything if they put their mind to it.
If you were sitting in that theater watching those people on stage and you didn't even think within 2 years you would be on the stage and people would be clapping for you, that's crazy. And it just shows the power of like anything is possible. Anything can happen.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The power that how your mind, because once we started to get involved with the engineering thing to be designers, and we say, well, I didn't even thought that I didn't even know that existed.
No.
That type of work even existed. Yet here we are, learning how to do it from people who were like our immediate bosses, showing us, no, this is how you do this. And we started looking at books, and we started learning formulas. There was a lot of math involved.
Wow.
And we used the slide rule, which you don't even know what it is.
I don't.
And a slide rule was the precursor to a computer.
Wow.
You did multiplications on a slide rule.
Damn. Yeah, I've never even heard of that in my life.
I know. So you say, holy Christ, who the hell even knew that this would happen? No. Me, I did terrible in math in school. Even in college, I had difficulty. And here I am using math every day.
Every day.
Now, later on in years, as years went by, I'm doing this. I'm doing a slide rule and using formulas. We did formulas to know how much water would flow through a pipe.
That's crazy. That's advanced math. That's not like.
It's all.
Yeah.
Hard stuff. And
there, you had no ChatGPT, you had no Google, you had no
nothing,
anything.
Nothing. We did it.
Yeah.
So we did it, and now years go by, and you say, well, the rest of my life was part of it. Yeah. And then all of us went into different parts of that industry.
So you niched down kind of within the industry?
We changed, like, I got into the consulting engineering part of it, which was the beginning of it, and then later on I got into the building part of it. Getting involved in how buildings were built, and how I knew all the makings of an architectural drawing. I knew what everything meant. I knew, and we worked closely with architects all the time. And because of, in my particular case, like Bob, we all had different parts of careers that continued. But in my particular case, as time went by, I started to, someone would come up to me and say, do you think you want to change? You want to be out of this thing where you're sitting at a desk drawing all day and designing? I says, I think I could do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I can. And so this guy who was a salesman offered me a job.
Doing sales?
Doing sales.
Wow.
And I excelled at it.
Yeah.
I didn't know, but
how old were you here?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. Probably, let's say I was
closer to 30, right?
I was in my early 30s.
Early 30s.
Early 30s. When someone says, we have this company that does this special thing that we could save energy by not doing this. We could do this, and you.
Oh, you've told me this story a lot of times. Yeah.
Just, and so all of my other knowledge, all of the things I did, I reach back in my knowledge bin, so to speak,
Yeah.
and say, well, gee, I understand that. I understand how it works, but I was, I had a good way about me. I could talk to people and I would make them my friends, and so I was sales oriented that way.
Exactly.
And so I started to get involved with other engineers and showing them the product that we now were manufacturing. We were making a special filter that had to do with buildings.
Yeah.
And we would save energy. And now I was selling this system, whole system.
All over, right?
All over the country.
Yeah.
And actually, Bobby and I split up the country.
Oh yeah, I remember
He took
west
of the Mississippi, and I took east of the Mississippi. And the main company was in New York City.
Wow.
And I made a video of how the system worked, and
with Linda, right? Didn't
with
Linda?
my friend Linda, who was doing commercials at the time, and I would go approach people. I thought, well, let's see, Linda does this. I could ask her if she would help me with it, and so does this. I could ask him if he could help.
Bringing it all together.
It's just a matter of knowing, how to pull it all together. I don't think it's impossible to do.
No. And I guess every little experience and network in your life all came together and helped.
It continues to come together.
Yeah, to this day. Yeah.
Even today, even up to the last. The hard part of all of this is while all this is going on, we were still doing nightclub shows.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. And then I wound up meeting my wife and getting married and doing all this stuff and
do you have any kids?
Yeah. we had a couple of kids.
Right?
Nice. And so
and I bet you met a lot of people through the nightlife that you could network with
in my
engineering business.
And it worked for the engineering business because people knew who I was in the past.
Yeah. I remember you telling me too.
Yeah. And it was like they wanted to hang out with me.
Yeah.
Because of
to them you're famous, your hit records.
Yeah, because of the recording career and the people I knew and
that's
all
cool.
That. And so that helped me, and I used it.
Yeah, for sure.
I used it as a tool.
It's who you are. I mean.
Yeah, it's who I am.
Yeah.
I didn't lie,
Exactly.
So all these things happen, and then I used to invite them to shows.
Oh, that's cool.
And buy them tickets to shows.
Yeah,
I used to go to the show and they go, "Oh my God, I didn't know you did."
Yeah. That's great. That's cool.
Even later on, it's just a couple of quick stories that later on I started working with the classics with Emil Stucchio and the classics because the Mystics kind of after about 30 years of 35 years or so kind of leveled out. Bobby moved to Arizona, guys moved different places.
And the classics was till then, right?
Till then. And they were neighborhood friends too.
From Bensonhurst?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Well, they were more from South Brooklyn area, but we all knew each other.
Gotcha.
And so now years and years go by, and I'm still doing with the classics. We did a lot of nightclub work, a lot of shows, a lot of nightclub work, and my family put up with it. My wife liked it. She would come to the shows, and she would sell
tickets,
merchandise.
Oh wow!
And sell the
CDs, T-shirts,
wow, all that stuff. And she used to do all of that, and with the other wives, and we had a nice thing going for quite a while. And so the one thing I wanted to tell you about.
Yeah.
Now, many years go by, and I'm still doing shows, and up to recently.
Yeah.
Up to
And
recently.
don't you have some coming up too, or
Yeah, we have. I'm done.
No?
I'm gonna quit it all.
retire?
Yeah, because I did 35 years with the Mystics and 30 years with the Clash.
Wow, it's over 60 years. Well, yeah, because you're
I'm done. You
Yeah.
know, it's enough.
Yeah.
But I work, and after a while, I never told people. I never even tell people.
No, because
what I
you
did.
don't want to go through the
I never
BS.
go through the whole thing. So now I'm working I get a job through a friend of mine, and to be the owner's rep for NYU Medical Center in Manhattan for all the construction that they're going to do. Now, I'm working with one other guy, and actually two guys. One guy was really the guy who got us the job, and then he and I were full-time on the job.
Nice.
And it changed. My life changed completely again.
Wow.
Again, because now I was in charge of major construction that was going on
In the city.
in the
too.
city,
It's a
in a
big deal.
hospital.
Yeah.
I mean, major hospital, and the first thing we built was a whole electrical plant where we made electricity in a building.
Wow.
We built a building, and we put all the stuff in that building that made electricity from gas.
Wow.
We put gas line in, and we supplied electricity to the whole 7 square block complex
Wow.
in Manhattan.
Big.
Big. We saved the hospital $1 million a year in electricity bills.
Oh.
We even sold electricity back to Con Edison.
What does that mean?
Well, Con Edison was the supplier of electricity.
Oh, and you sold it back to them?
We sold excess electricity back to them,
Wow.
and they loved it.
I bet.
It was great. So now I'm working, and I did a lot of projects. We did $2 billion worth of work in 10 years I was there.
Wow.
And I just quit a few years ago. So,
And I know you're still involved, right? Some projects.
well, odds and ends.
Yeah.
But I'm working on a particular job in the hospital. We're up, I don't know, one of the floors, and we're doing all electrical changes. You know, pulling ceilings down and doing running conduits.
This is in the city, or?
This is in the hospital.
Okay.
In this, and so a guy comes up to me. It was one of the guys who's working on in the electrical company, and he goes,
Busted.
He goes, "No, I know you." I says, "Yeah, I know. I see you every day."
Yeah.
I says, "Oh, you're doing the job. I'm you know, running it. You know." "Oh, no." He says, I went to a show." I said, "Oh,
Here we go.
here we go."
You thought you escaped it.
He says, "I went to a show." He says, "And it was you." I said, "No, it wasn't me. It looked like me."
I have a brother, actually.
He says, "It looked like me." He goes, "No, they said your name."
Oh.
I said, "Oh my God." So we laughed
Yeah.
and we laughed. But it's funny how it just, now from that point forward, just to prove a point, from that point forward, I was no longer the guy who was running all the stuff for the hospital, all this important work for
Yeah.
I was not that guy anymore. I was the guy who he saw on stage. And everything, I mean, the stage was nothing compared to what I did at the hospital. It was like, that was major shit. And
But they see you on stage
he sees
singing.
me. From that point, though, he was telling everybody.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, you know, this guy, oh my God. That's why I didn't want to tell anybody,
No.
because it changed
Yeah.
their viewpoint.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you were doing huge things.
that would
with-
happen a lot.
I bet.
It would happen.
I saw that in a very small format of
Oh,
that.
you saw a tiny bit of it. When the book first came out, you guys saw people at the
Barnes and Noble.
Barnes and Noble when I did the book the whole thing about
exactly
the book where it talked all about the book. And you saw people after that.
yeah.
And they
Exactly.
come over and
the show we went to as well. I saw people.
Oh yeah,
people
that's right. That show, yeah.
I have a small understanding of it from DJing and the marketing business.
Yeah.
People, when I started the marketing stuff, it's like, oh, you're the DJ, right? And like, they don't understand. It's like that's my main thing, but DJing's a side thing. But I can't imagine on a broader scale.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You're trying to build. You put your all into one thing, and then
yeah, here I am. Involved in running major work. I mean,
huge.
Putting a building up, a 7-story building,
Yeah.
with a electrical plant that makes electricity.
And they're still concerned
this
about
complicated, really complicated thing. Running electrical lines all over the campus
takes a lot more skill than being on stage.
All this stuff. And we're in charge of all this. Me and this other guy. We're in charge. Everybody's asking us questions. We have meetings every day. How we do this, and half the time I just because I knew stuff.
Yeah.
From experience, and what they're really interested in is
it's famous.
I saw you go bo 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 bo.
That's what they worried about.
It's crazy. Life is crazy.
That is crazy. I got one more question. What would you say through it all is like 1 or 2 or 3 main points, values that you took from life that you would give to me, someone who's 20 years old, my age, that could save them a lot of problems or just make the most out of life?
I know what you're asking me, and I mean, as you could tell, I had no idea what the hell I was going to do. None. But once I started something, I realized that if you like what you do, you'll do it well. I loved the singing in the beginning. I loved it. It's not that I shied away from it. I didn't say, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go on stage. I'm afraid. A lot of people don't have that. My personality was that, I'm going to do that. I love doing it. I love everything about it. And I'm going to put my mind to it and learn it and do it well.
Exactly.
Which is what I did. And then when it came to the other thing with the engineering part, where the drafting and the thing, I put my mind to it and I learned as much as I could. I could have done more. I could have probably... I'm not sure if having 2 simultaneous careers was a good idea, because one took from the other. You can only do so much.
Yeah.
You have a family, kids. A family with a wife and kids.
A wife and kids.
And then 2 careers that take a lot of time. Both of them took a lot of time, because I was the one that kind of managed the group.
So booking the shows,
Booking shows, doing the money, finding out where we're going, what we're doing.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Booking planes, and I was away. And the same thing with the engineering career. There were times where we did a job in Cairo.
In Egypt, yeah.
In Egypt.
You invented the eraser.
You're right. Right. And I did, and I was away for weeks at a time.
Yeah, it's tough.
And so now my family suffered. And your mom and her sister, Christine, Dina and Christine, they tell me all the time, you're not in a lot of family pictures because you weren't there. And that makes me feel bad. It does. It makes me feel bad. But I says, but you got what you got.
There's got to be a price you got to pay, yeah.
There's a price you got to pay. So part of my explanation to what you asked me is that, you could zone in on something, but there's going to be a price for everything, and it's always in time. The price is in time. How much time do you want to spend doing something, and how much time do you want to spend doing nothing, and how much, because everything has a price. Everything in life has a price. And fortunately, the price was time. For Phil, the price was different. For Phil, it was jail.
Yeah, time in jail.
Time in jail.
Yeah.
And the other guy's worse.
Mm-hmm.
But him, it wasn't so bad. It was only a couple of years. But there's always the price to pay. You have to pay to live.
Yeah.
You have to. Part of life is time to learn. There's time to have fun. There's time to build a family. There's time, but all of this takes
time.
There's only so many hours in a day.
So much time in life.
You can't make more time.
No.
You can make everything else.
But time.
You can't make that. So my advice would be that you find out what you really like to do, and spend your time doing that, because you'll do it well, and it'll be time well spent.
It's good advice.
I think.
That's good advice. I mean, I like it. What do you value? What do you think you would valued more? Obviously, time with family's huge, but someone's got to pay the bills, right? So it's like,
well, you gotta juggle. That's
balance,
a juggling act.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you change anything? Like,
No.
No, right?
No, only because of what I know happened.
Yeah.
What I know happened to my life, the people that came about
Mm-hmm.
because of what
Yeah.
I did in my life. I could not even imagine living without these people.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
And you have to have a little humility in the fact of, what you do. You want to give up something to have that time.
Sacrifice.
Sacrifice.
Yeah.
But you're only sacrificing time.
Yeah. For something greater, though. It's a greater purpose.
Well, yeah. And then you meet people along the way that you find out how great some people are and how not so great
Not so great,
some
yeah.
people are.
Yeah. It's part of the game, I guess.